All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to put your memory on trial because I'm willing to bet that some of the things you're absolutely 100% sure you remember never actually happened.
Okay, first up, I want you to picture it, that iconic scene on the bridge. It's probably one of the most famous lines in all of cinema. You've heard it a million times. What does Darth Vader say to Luke? Really hear it in your head. Got it? Okay, hold on to that.
And for the next one, let's talk about the Monopoly Man. You know, rich ankle pennybags, top hat, little mustache. What else is on his face? There's a specific piece of eyewear he's famous for, right? You can see it clear as day in your mind's eye.
Okay, ready for this? If you confidently answered, "Luke, I am your father," you're wrong. The line is actually, "No, I am your father." And the Monopoly Man, he doesn't wear a monocle. He never has. If your brain feels like it just hit a blue screen right now, don't worry, you're not going crazy. You've just run headfirst into a bizarre phenomenon we call the Mandela Effect.
So, that little mental glitch you just felt, the one that makes you question everything, it has a name. So let's break down what this thing is that makes millions of us share the exact same memories of things that never were.
It's called the Mandela Effect, a name that came from a paranormal researcher named Fiona Broome back in 2009. She realized that she and literally thousands of other people had a crystal clear memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison back in the 1980s, but that didn't happen. He got out of prison in 1990 and lived until 2013. And that's the whole key right there. It's not just one person misremembering. It's huge groups of people who've never met sharing the exact same wrong memory.
And oh, it goes so much deeper than Nelson Mandela. So many of us are positive it was the Berenstain Bears with an EIN. It just feels right. The evil queen in Snow White? She never says mirror, mirror on the wall. She says magic mirror on the wall. Pikachu's tail? It's all yellow, no black tip. And that cute little monkey, Curious George? He doesn't have a tail. At all. I know each one of those feels completely wrong, and that feeling, that's the core of this whole thing.
So, to understand how this is even possible, we need to look at the hardware it's running on, our own brains. Turns out, our minds aren't really like video cameras, perfectly recording the world. Nope, they're much more like creative storytellers.
This quote absolutely nails it. We think of memory like a file we just pull up and replay. But what neuroscience tells us is that memory is a reconstructive process. Every single time you remember something, your brain is rebuilding that memory from scratch, piece by piece. And just like rebuilding anything, you can accidentally use the wrong part.
And these errors can sneak in at any point. When you're first encoding the memory, your brain might just skip over the A in Berenstain because it's not paying close attention. During consolidation, when you're sleeping, it might smoosh two similar events together. But the real chaos happens during retrieval. Your brain grabs all these little fragments of the memory and then it just fills in the gaps with what it thinks should be there.
We can even see which parts of the brain are the main culprits here. Your hippocampus might mix up details from different memories. Your prefrontal cortex, which is kind of like your brain's logic police, steps in and fills in blanks, insisting it must be Bernstein because, Steen is a super common suffix. Then your amygdala, the emotion center, stamps that memory with a feeling of absolute certainty, making it feel 100% true, even when it's totally false. So, okay, our brains are hardwired to make these little mistakes, but how does one person's tiny mental typo become a shared belief for millions of people? Well, that's when a memory goes viral. It usually kicks off with something called a schema. A schema is just a mental shortcut, a template your brain uses. For instance, your brain has a monkey schema, and in that template, monkeys have tails. So when you think back to Curious George, your brain helpfully corrects the memory and adds a tail to fit the template, even if one was never there.
Then that one little error gets put on blast. You mention it to your friends, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember that too." That's social contagion. You see a meme online of the Monopoly Man with a monocle, and that new information literally overwrites your original memory. Then you Google it, and surprise, you find thousands of other people who remember it the same way you do, which triggers your confirmation bias. And all of this is cranked up to 11 by the most powerful repetition machine ever built, the internet.
And that's really the heart of it, the incredible scale. The internet takes a totally normal, predictable brain glitch that might happen to a few people here and there, and it duplicates it, reinforces it, and validates it across millions and millions of minds, until a brand new, shared but false reality is born. Now, this is where the whole conversation gets really wild, because for a lot of people, the feeling that their memory is the correct one is so incredibly strong that they think the only logical explanation is that reality itself must have changed.
So you've basically got two camps. On one side, you have the scientific explanation. Our memory isn't a recording, it's flawed, and these flaws, combined with social pressure, create shared mistakes. This view is backed up by decades of neuroscience. And on the other side, you've got theories that we're actually remembering things from a parallel universe, or that we're living in a simulation that's glitching. And while those ideas are really fun to think about, they can't be tested, and there's no real evidence for them.
So, it might seem like this is all just fun and games, a bit of trivia about old board games and kids' books, but it's actually so much more than that. Realizing just how flawed our memory can be has some pretty massive real-world consequences. I mean, think about our legal system, which relies so heavily on eyewitness testimony. This shows how unreliable that can be. It's a huge lesson in media literacy, showing us how easily misinformation can take root and become fact online. But maybe the biggest takeaway is about humility. The Mandela Effect proves that the feeling of being certain about something is just a feeling. It's not a guarantee that you're right.
And that's what we're left with, this really powerful, kind of scary question. The Mandela Effect isn't proof that we're slipping between dimensions. It's a window, a direct look into how our own minds work. It shows us that memory isn't static, it's a living, breathing social creation. And it forces us to ask a pretty fundamental question. If our most vivid, most shared, most certain memories can be completely wrong, what can we ever really, truly be certain of?